Oldschool Runescape will get one of the biggest expansions in the game's history this July. We'll get new Slayer monsters, weapons, bosses, AFK draining metas, and much more. In this video, I will show you everything about Varlamore 3 expansion that you need to know before the release date. As always, there are timestamps in the video, so feel free to jump around and see what interests you the most. Let's start with my personal favorite, the Final Dawn Master Level quest. This one has requirements of 66 thieving, 52 runecrafting, 52 fletching, and you must have completed the Heart of Darkness and Perilous Moons quest. Once you completed the Final Dawn, you are rewarded a brand new weapon that currently sits on par with the Dragon Scimitar, and it got a nice 82% yes votes from the player base. What makes this weapon so unique is the special attack. It costs 30% special attack energy, and your next hit will have 50% more accuracy and 50% more damage. It also has another benefit, which is the burn effect. If your special attack is a successful hit, your target burns for 10 extra damage, and you can stack this up 3 times. So if you get 3 successful special attacks in row, you can burn your opponent for extra 30 hit points. This weapon is untradeable, and if you lose it, you need to pay 75k GP to get it back. On top of the amazing mid-game weapon, you are also rewarded a bunch of experience in multitude of skills, like thieving, runecrafting, fletching, and even a combat lamp for 55,000 experience. And the best part about completing this quest is access to the new endgame boss, the Tomb of Mokhaiotl. So for all of you endgame players who are already getting tired of hunting down Yama, you need to complete this master level quest to access the new boss as well. And since I already mentioned this boss, we might as well go over about everything we know so far. The Tomb of Mokhaiotl is a completely unique, never before seen boss in Oldschool Runescape, where the main draw is all about risk versus reward. After defeating the boss, you choose between leaving with your loot or fighting an even tougher version of the monster in the hopes of getting a bigger prize. You can repeat this process as many times as you like, but the boss will become increasingly more challenging. If you die, any loot you earned so far will be lost. When the boss is defeated, it will descend further into deeper levels. Defeating it as you keep going down will increase the chance of receiving unique drops. There will be 8 levels in total, each increasing in difficulty, and you can keep repeating the final difficulty level as long as you can survive. I will say this again, this is an end game boss. Jagex stated that this will be meant for players who already completed the Inferno or are very close to completing it. The boss is completely different to Inferno, but just keep in mind that if you're stuck on getting the Fire Cape, maybe you need to practice a little bit more before you try to hunt down the Tomb of Mokhaiotl. But if you do manage to make it to the final level and defeat the boss multiple times, you have a chance to obtain these rewards. First and foremost, the boss will have a common drop of Demon Tears. This will be used as a currency for the 3 main unique drops. Think of it like crystal shards for Bofa, but this time it's demons. The first of these rewards is Avernic Threads, new best-in-slot hybrid boots that have a 80 defense, strength, ranged, and magic requirements. These are going to be an absolute must for any Ironman account, especially Ultimate Ironman, because the main purpose is that you don't have to bring different types of boots wherever you go. You can now combine all of them together into one item. In fact, the Avernic boots have 2 options. The first one is base form, and the second option is adding Primordial, Pegasian, and Eternal boots to make super hybrid boots. And just for comparison, these are the stats for upgraded Avernic Threads, and this is for Brimstone boots, which is the current best-in-slot hybrid option. The new boots are gonna be at least 3 times as good as the current Brimstone boots, and a must-have for anyone who doesn't want to bring different types of boots into PvM encounters. I expect these boots to be at least like 60 or 70 million GP once everything settles down, and also keep in mind, once you upgrade the Avernic Threads, they will become untradeable, just like Avernic Defender. The next reward is Eye of Ayak, a powerful magic staff with a level 83 requirement. It will become the second strongest magic staff behind Dumek and Shadow, and its main power lies in its attack speed. It's a 3-cycle weapon compared to Dumek and Shadow that has 5-tick speed. And its special attack consumes 50% energy, gives you double accuracy, and deals 30% more damage on the next hit. It also lowers your opponent's magic level, so it's basically all in one type of deal. You get a fast magic weapon with super speed attacks, your special attack deals bonus damage, and also lowers your opponent's against magic defense. On top of that, it's also a one-handed weapon, so you can use a shield to go with it. Using the absolute max gear, you can probably hit over 50 with the Eye of Ayak, and considering how good it is, the speculation is that this staff is going to be at least 250 million GP once everything settles down. And the final reward from this endgame boss is a brand new pair of gauntlets for magic. You can get the Mokhaiotl cloth as a drop, then you can use it on the Tormented bracelet, and that gives you 2% extra magic DPS plus some extra accuracy. This new magic gauntlet has a level 90 hit points requirement, so even one defense pures can technically use it. It also has a built-in passive effect, which is the most interesting part about this item. If you miss a magic attack while you have these gloves equipped, your next magic attack will roll double the accuracy. So it's kinda like Osmuten's Fang, but for magic. But this only works with one-handed magic weapons, so items like Tumek and Shadow can't take advantage of this passive effect. The best case use for these gauntlets will likely be using ancient spells like Blood Barrage and Ice Barrage. If you splash once on your opponent, it's very likely you'll get the next hit guaranteed. This helps you catch more freezes and heal with blood spells over time. At the end of the day, this still keeps Tumek and Shadow as the best magic weapon in the game, but it will help with magic's biggest issue, which is low accuracy. So overall, this is a very good reward to have. And these are everything we will get with this boss, along with common loot table, and I expect Jagex to have even more surprises when this boss gets released. Maybe a new pet, or maybe some unique training methods. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Okay, let's move away from the endgame boss and talk about skilling, specifically the new fletching training method that will arrive with this update. Personally, I've been intentionally not training fletching and patiently waiting for this update, because it's gonna bring in a brand new way to train the skill, and I'm super excited to try it out. The location for this activity will take place in the village of Auburnvale, and the entire place is inhabited by magical ents who need your help. This activity will be accessible from level 15 fletching and beyond, although you'll get the most out of it at around level 50 fletching, and here's how the gameplay loop works. You need to scout the area around you and keep an eye out for animals that are most common nearby. For a top tier totem that gives you the most amount of experience and rewards, you should look to represent the 3 most common animals nearby. They will move around from time to time, so you can't always rely on the same combination of animals. Once you figure out the 3 animals to make totems out of, you need to start gathering logs. The higher tier logs you use, the longer your totem will stand, and those allow you to keep the totem site active for longer periods of time. This in turn allows you to maintain more sites around the village simultaneously, which gives you better experience per hour. So, turn your logs into plank poles, choose your animal to represent the totem, and once it's completed, place them on the ground for the magical ends to give you reward and experience. On top of that, you can use unstrung bows, crossbow stocks, and shields as decorations. You can place these fletching items next to the totems to gain even more experience. And don't worry, you don't have to bring these so-called chunk fletching items with you wherever you go, as there will be some convenient banks along the way to pick up your pre-made items. Once you placed everything down, the ents will pass by to pay their respects and leave offerings. You don't have to wait around for the ents to show up. They will pass by actively and reward you if you have a totem up. So you might as well go make some other totems elsewhere. The maximum time a totem will stay on the ground is roughly 4 to 5 minutes, and this time will depend on the level of logs you're using. So higher level logs means the totem stays on the ground longer, and that also means more experience. So what are these rewards that magical ents will leave behind? Well, let's go through all of them. Number 1, the fletching knife. It's a must-have upgrade to the normal knife. Its benefit is faster actions compared to normal version, so something like fletching unstrung bow, shields, arrow shafts, and much more will be one cycle faster than it is right now. You can also equip this knife as an offhand weapon, just like you can with Amy's saw, Bruma's torch, or Imkando hammer. So when you're training skills like Hunter, this will allow you to use it as a knife even if you have it equipped. Also, keep in mind that this fletching knife will allow you to make the end totems faster for the new activity. So it's a really good item to have all around. Here are some of the experience rate boosts you can expect with the knife. Most of these give you roughly 25% more experience per hour, but they aren't that meta-defying because training methods like making darts or arrows is still twice as fast. The next reward is an interesting one, the bowstring spool. It's a very simple concept. You can store bowstrings inside here to make your fletching training faster. You can upgrade it 6 times, so let's say you get a spool from magical ents, and that allows you to store 250 bowstrings. Then you get another one. You upgrade your current spool, and now you can store double the amount. Do this 6 times in total, and you can have 100k bowstrings with 1 inventory slot. Since fletching bows with the bowstring is much faster experience than just making unstringed bows from logs, this will have a nice use for people who want to have those 27 free inventory spaces while getting some nice experience. Jagex even said that this won't be a mega rare drop, so everyone can pretty much take advantage of this. And the final reward will be a common drop of end branches. This allows you to make 3 different items. First of all, at 74 fletching, you can use end branches with some feathers to make atlatl darts. Now you don't have to go back to Beryllius Moons every time you run out of ammo. Second item you can make with these branches is BOH customization thingy-majingis that give your house a better look. And finally, you can use these for some cosmetic masks with every tier of logs represented. And I must say, that's gonna be some great fashionscape. Overall, even though the rewards aren't that groundbreaking, this will make fletching a smoother experience for everyone and give some much needed life to the skill itself. Okay, we have few more things to discuss with this update, and one of those is the new Slayer dungeon. The dungeon will be located in the Custodia Pass, which is a hostile stretch of rocky ground that marks the border between Varlamore and Current. You will gain access to all the creatures in the dungeon after you complete the quest related to it. One of the creatures is the Custodian Stalker, which has a level 76 Slayer requirement. Custodian Stalkers are low defense and high hit points monsters that also have a magic element of weakness. Their main drop will be a new offhand weapon that everyone with 50 prayer requirement can equip. This defender will stay between Rune and Dragon Defender in terms of offensive stats and will have negative defensive stats. So it's all about DPS and utilizing its amazing attack bonuses. The difference is that you can equip the Antler Guard with range and magic as well, since it doesn't give negative bonuses in those combat styles. This is very good for mid-game players who just want to have a good offensive item with low requirements, and it's also good for PvP where all 3 combat styles will be used. I can definitely see the Antler Guards keeping their value over time because it appeals to so many different player types. And right next to the Slayer dungeon, we'll have brand new rainforest that will introduce plenty of new content down the line. One of those will be a new AFK monster that everyone can participate, and it's called the Gemstone Crab boss. The boss will be much better to take down together rather than alone, because the entire purpose of this crab boss is a lot of hit points, just like every other crab in the game. It can spawn in multiple locations throughout the rainforest and players can track it down. The 16 best players who deal most amount of damage will be named MVPs and will get extra loot like gems and supplies. If you're like me and love some good old AFK combat training, forget about Nightmare Zone, this boss is going to be much better. And finally, you can also encounter a new type of Nagua in the rainforest, rounding out the spiritual trio. We already have the Sulfur Naguas in Beryllius Moons and the Frost Naguas in the Twilight Temple. These new jungle Naguas will be located in the rainforest just like the Gemstone Crab. You'll be able to fight them as a Slayer task once you completed the Master level Final Thorn quest. Their main drop will also round out the double attack weapons of Varlamore. First of all, we have the Crush option for Glacial to Motley. Then we have the Slash option for Sulfur Blades. And this jungle Nagua will drop the stab version called Earthbound Tech Battle. Just like the other 2 weapons, this will also hit twice per attack and roll damage normally while splitting it across 2 hit splats. And this is pretty much everything with Varlamore Part 3. We are expected to probably see a lot of surprises, like we did with Varlamore Part 1 and 2. So honestly, we'll have to see what else Jagex is cooking up. If you made it this far, consider clicking that subscribe button so you don't miss out on the next video. But I thank you for watching and I'll see you next time.